On this episode, I return with this month's Journey into Imagination series as I sit down with the Big Fat Panda himself, John Sacherri. Today is April 19th, 2024, and this is episode 660 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I am your host, Jeremy Stein, and while I'm not joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda, today, I will soon be joined by my new friend and very soon to be yours, John Sacherri, otherwise known as Big Fat Panda. First, make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. And don't forget to follow us on TikTok as well at MSM Podcast. And if you've not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join. Then if you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, you can get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. If you're planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World, it can be overwhelming and at times downright frustrating. Don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service. And then if you're planning that next trip to Disney World, or maybe looking to go to a Universal park, go on a cruise, or pretty much travel anywhere else in the world, make sure you check out mainstmagictravel.com and fill out a form for a free quote. I am super excited for today's episode and for today's guest because I have followed him for close to a decade, all the way back to when we first started the Main Street Magic podcast. He has been on the top of my list of one of the guests that I wanted to have. BigFatPanda.com delivers the best theme park entertainment to kick the blues until you can visit yourself. Over the past decade, John has delivered over 1,200 videos with over 100,000 subscribers and 58 million views and counting for his vlogging at Disney World, documenting its sights and sounds. Let's chat with John Sacherri. John, thank you so much for joining me and welcome to the Main Street Magic podcast.
Thank you, man. It's great to be here.
So when we started the Main Street Magic podcast over 8 years ago, I had a short list of folks that I immediately had started watching or listening to that I just thought, one day I'm gonna have them on the podcast, and you were definitely on that short list. So this is super exciting to get a chance to sit down with you today.
It took 8 years. That's crazy. I was available the first day, man.
I know. And if I had known how approachable and what a sweet guy you are, I would have reached out so long ago, because we've been lucky to connect, most recently. We'd run into each other at different things, but I know with our mutual friends, Scott and Michelle Atwood, most recently through some gatherings and House of Mouse Expo and things like that, we've gotten to become friends and know each other a little bit better. So I'm very excited to sit with you today.
Me too.
And I start all of these Journey into Imagination series with one question, and that is, where does your love of Disney come from?
So, it's weird. One of my answers usually to that is it's always inside us, like the magic, and Disney brings it out. But let me preface it with, if I go back, my father was excited to take us to Disney. And his excitement made us watch, I was either 5 or 6 the first time I went. And he would make us watch, The Wonderful World of Disney on TV. So he kind of prepped us. And we never went on vacation, running through the sprinkler outside. That was the summer. I never went anywhere, maybe a zoo, like the game farm up in New York, the Catskills.
Yeah.
But we were getting on a plane and we were going to Disney, and my father was singing Zippity Doo-Dah and just, putting us in the mood that by the time I got there, I was already enchanted with this magical place, to the point where it just stuck with me a little. I told my father then I'm going to move there. He says, you'll see, you'll grow out of it. And that never happened.
Wow. I love to hear that and I hope that we instill the same thing on our kids, who right now are sick of Disney World because we just took them so much that it was just like overkill. But hopefully they can grow up feeling that same way.
I always think about that. I think about if, because it was so unobtainable for me to go to Disney. I was in New York and we went once and then I didn't go again for 10 more years. I always wondered if kids that had it just take it for granted. It's something it's right down the block. Who cares?
They do. And it's understandable in ways, because from the moment we became pass holders, which was 8 years ago now, we went every single month and took the kids every single month. And so, yeah, after they started to grow up a little bit, it was just that burnout for them. But yeah, same thing. I mean, I grew up in Maryland, so it was trips every few years, maybe went 3-4 times, from the time I was born till I was 18 and out on my own. So you grew up up north in New York area. Did Disney bring you here? What brought you to Florida? And then how did that kind of parlay into you deciding, hey, I love Disney. I'm going to Disney. Why don't I start creating content about it? Because a decade ago, that was long before most people that are out there doing it now. So how did all that come about?
So back in New York, I was the kind of kid, I guess I don't know. I guess I tried to do I was in plays and stuff like that. I wanted to do entertainment type stuff. I was always big. I was always chubby, fat. And when they needed a little fat Italian, sometimes they would get me on TV commercials. So I did a Mead Trapper Keeper notebook commercial that's kind of popular, or for our age, you might remember it. And I guess I took that and, when I did move to Florida, kind of put the entertainment stuff together and tried to make content. But getting here, remember, I'm 6 years old and I tell my father, I'm going to move down there.
Yeah.
So, you go through your 20s and I'm still thinking, I need to be near that magic kingdom. I need it in my life more than once every 5-10 years. So, I couldn't at 20. Eventually I became a travel agent. So I was able to go at least once a year for inexpensive. And I was like, staying at the Grand Floridian thinking who the heck I was, Polynesian. And then eventually I left the travel agency and I was able to do like a work at home thing called mystery shopping, where I was the mystery shopping company dispatching people across the United States. And when I realized, I could take this business, which made a little bit of money at the time, I could take this business and make it in Florida. So I did. I said, and you look at the houses in New York, for $200,000, it's a jalopy. You can't live there.
Yeah.
But in Florida, $200,000 went a long way. And then when my father told me what he's paying for taxes on his house, I was like, you know what? I am definitely moving towards the mouse. So yeah, that all came together. Then I think I was here about 2 or 3 years when I decided, let's make my first video was a flower and garden video from Epcot. And there was something about the way the music crescendoed when I went on the monorail and took pictures of the flowers from above.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is really cool. Like, it's a way to entertain people without my face. Eventually, then I tipped my toe in the water and put my face on and said some stuff about Disney and saw if people listened or not, or if they said, get off the camera, you bastard. And eventually it just worked out where I was like, no, all right, the people say they want to see more of me. So I put my face out and it just became a thing. And then Kung Fu Panda came out. I heard the phrase, you're just a big fat panda. He goes, I'm not a big fat panda. I'm the big fat panda. And he pummels him. I was like, you know what? All right, I'm going to take that little moniker. I bought bigfatpanda.com. Wow. I connected it to the YouTube channel and that was it.
Wow. That's so cool. I didn't know
fun.
that whole origin story. So that's really cool to hear. So, I mean, what's that like then starting off and doing that? Obviously you said, you had done some commercials and you had grown up around entertainment, enjoying entertainment. What is it like doing those first couple videos and figuring it out? Especially, what does keep you going when, you were very new to the game in general. I don't know how many YouTubers are out there covering Disney a decade ago, but certainly not what there is today. So yeah, what was that like getting into that and keeping on going? I assume during the time you're working still a regular job doing those things and some of the mystery shopping stuff?
Sure, at home, yep.
Okay.
And I think the first goal was you had to get, PayPal wouldn't pay you, not PayPal, YouTube wouldn't pay you unless you got to $100.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, $100. Could you imagine making $100 off these videos? And it was almost impossible. I mean, no matter how many views you got, it was like you made $20, $10, $5. It was a slog.
Yeah.
And I was doing it because I loved doing it, not because I thought I would make money, but I really wanted to see if it could.
Yeah.
So eventually when you passed the $100 mark, and then, there was a time where I was making thousands off YouTube. Of course, now it's changed a lot where you get no view. I get no views now. Yeah. Especially because I went to go work for other companies for a while because there's really not a lot of money in YouTube. And the other company did wind up closing up for other reasons, but yeah, it was fun. It's still fun.
Yeah. So at what point though, did you decide to almost jump all in and because I mean, everything you do is revolved around Disney and content creation.
Yeah,
What was that? What made the decision?
I don't even know. I think I just did it. I didn't even think it was a decision. I think it was just natural because I lived and breathed the parks anyway. I was always there anyway. So it's like, all right, let's turn the camera on and talk about something. And then when I get home, have something to put up and then do a show. Like I thought people really needed to hear what the heck was going on in my life for a half hour. When I watched my first Big Fat Panda show, I'm like, oh, it's chilling. Like I hate it.
Yeah.
But I realized that was a younger, dumber me.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's anybody goes back to the original thing that they created. I mean, sometimes you can go back a week ago and be like, oh
yes,
that was awful. I just started getting back.
Liquor can also play that.
Oh,
that
of course. Yeah. And I just got back to like listening to our podcasts again. Like I stopped for a while. Now I'll go back and listen to them. And there's times you hear it and you're like, I totally botched that, or I forgot a word, or I forgot to explain something,
I do that all
more
the time.
In depth. It's interesting. But
or is that word offensive now?
Right.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I said something that was fine when I was a kid, but is that okay now?
Yeah. Well, that's great. I mean, how have you seen, that brings up a great question, is how have you seen the scope of things change? That's obviously one of them in a political climate of things that you could say, do, show even a decade ago, can be edgy now when you didn't even know they were, and especially I think with our generation, we're not, far off from each other in age, is things that we grew up with were very acceptable. And I mean, I go back and watch something like Seinfeld and I'm like,
yeah.
Wow,
oh my gosh. Yeah.
You couldn't get away with any of this today. How do you change, I guess, with the environment? It obviously sounds like you're conscious of that.
Disney was always safe. You didn't have to really worry about it if you didn't say anything, weird. I mean, listen, I grew up with The Wizard of Oz. As a kid, the name of the little people were called the Singer Midgets. Now we know that's an offensive term. We don't use it anymore. So there's things like that. But with Disney, when they got into the culture wars, it was weird for me, I think, because now I had to navigate, the whole Splash Mountain thing was the start of it, really, where you realized you have to be sensitive. Somebody's offended by this, and the company itself is offended by their own, pieces of their cartoon, but yet you still love this attraction because you grew up with it and you didn't see the bad part. You just saw the characters and the music. So I think that was a time where I went, oh, okay, this is, you have to navigate these waters now. And I remember hoping Disney would not get involved in things. And I think they got involved a little too much. And I'm hoping they pull back now, because even for me, it's like, even as, if you can be liberal, Disney is doing some things that it doesn't feel, I feel like if I had children, which I don't, years ago, I could have shown them a Disney movie and not even care, thought it was safe for sure.
Right.
Nowadays, I don't know that. I would probably look at it first before I showed it to my kids to make sure there's no crazy messages sometimes in there.
Yeah.
And that's weird to me with Disney. I think Disney needs to get back to stop that.
Yeah. Well, and I'm finding, especially with the age of my girls at 13 and 16, I mean, I'll go again, some of the stuff, and I think of Shrek as being one of the first animated movies that was so geared towards children and adults, right? And kids were young enough that they didn't know it was edgy. Yep. They didn't understand, is Lord Farquhar compensating for something? They didn't know what that meant.
yes.
As they start to get into
and
13 to 16.
I think if the kids... then 13.
It was perfectly done, and now they get an age. You're right. It's kind of like, all right, what topics are going to be tackled today, and all of that. So I find that interesting in the scope of all things creation of kind of towing that line a little bit.
I think Turning Red coming out, it was 2 days before it came out that I realized what the metaphor was. I was like, what?
Oh yeah. I mean, same with me. And again, I've got 2 teenage girls, and I was still. But it's so funny. At a time, that movie spoke to me very much as a father of 2 teenage girls that were going through the same thing. And so it's interesting. So I think I kind of toe the line of between, boy, that movie, came at a right time for just say me and my girls, even if we weren't going to sit down and watch it together. But at the same time, I can see where younger children or even folks that maybe don't have kids are going, why are we doing this? Like what's going on? We don't need this. And it's hard because, with us in loving Disney and creating content, I'm sure you feel very much the same way. You want to create that content to take people away from their everyday life. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You want to immerse them in the parks. It should be. Yeah. So it's hard when you start have to thinking about, we find that with the podcast is, when is the time to be serious, and I know going through COVID, I remember sitting down and like watching a show, like a medical show, and they were talking about COVID, and I'm like, no, stop. We got to live through this every day, you know?
Yep.
Like, let's make me laugh or just be in suspense in other ways. So I do find that interesting, in the way that the climates just continually change. But you obviously do a very good job at it because you're still killing it, regardless of, you know, companies like Facebook and YouTube that have found ways to bury the really good content creators. Which I think will lead us to the hat and some fun questions that I get to pull out of my little Animal Kingdom Lodge Jumbo hat.
I love it.
I wore it once when we were at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and then I realized that I looked ridiculous in it. So now it serves as my question.
Come on, you'd look good in that hat.
So it's not bad. It's okay. Maybe I'll wear it to Animal Kingdom next time. I'll meet you out there.
All right, good. I like the red stripe on it. It looks a little narco.
It's nice. Like, yeah, it's good stuff, right? Yeah,
I like it.
All right,
Cuban. I like it.
The first one, and this is, I think, in the past month, this question has changed a little bit, as I'm going to talk about Epic Universe and get some opinions from you on both Epic Universe and Disney. You know, a month ago, this question was straight up, how concerned is Disney about Epic Universe? Well, within that month, we've gotten major announcements from Universal in the way that Epic Universe is going to look. We've gotten, you know, all the concept art. We get, you know, BioReconstruct posting incredible aerial photos every day. Disney, up to a month ago or so, it didn't really seem like they had any sort of direct response. Now that, speaking of political, I think some things have, you know, they've been able to sweep to the side now. They're starting to make some major moves. Do you think that Disney truly is concerned about Epic Universe as a whole? Or are they just really kind of doing what Disney does and thinking, all right, we're going to open some additional rides or switch out some things. We're going to focus on Dino Land and Beyond Big Thunder Mountain. Is that a direct response, or is Disney just doing what Disney does?
I definitely believe that we're going to be getting more money into some other projects because of it.
Okay.
I just think it's a normal back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, they can say, listen, Epic Universe is not going to kill Disney. We know that. I mean, some people will joke around and say that. I don't think they even believe it. It's going to be, will it take some market share away eventually, or sort of? I think so.
Yeah.
I also know that even me, I've been going to Universal more now this year than I ever did before.
Yeah.
And I'm, you know, finding enjoyment in it because sometimes don't know what Disney's doing, and there's not something new isn't coming, and the Imagination Pavilion still is a joke.
Yeah.
So those kind of things. But yeah, I do think that they won't say they're responding. They can't, but they definitely, the fight that's going to go on between Universal and Disney, just in attractions and putting money in things. It's good I think it's healthy for everybody.
Yes.
You know, maybe Disney isn't going to build a new park because of it, but they're definitely some of these expansions. I think, listen, I don't even know what's real and what's not anymore. They've mentioned so many things. They've canceled so many projects that they were supposed to do. But right now you could take all of the parks and there's something major rumored going on that I kind of think, I think they are responding where more money is being poured into, hey, we got to keep people here. We got to keep them interested, and they got to pull the trigger sooner than later. But gosh, they are slow.
Oh, I know. And you're right, though. In the end, us as theme park fans, we all win.
We all win.
So it's funny, you know, I think everybody almost, or not everybody, there's a lot of people that want to see Universal win or Disney win. And I'm like, no, just let them go back and forth. Let them, you know, combat.
It's not going to be it's always going to be a nice dance, a waltz. It's a waltz. It's
yes,
not a
it
win.
is. Yeah. And we all get to take advantage of it with incredible new parks and lands and rides.
Listen, what I'm seeing coming out of Epic just looks really impressive to me.
It does. It looks incredible.
And I joked and I said, all right, How to Train Your Dragon. I like the movies, but I said, who's going to spend time in a land there? And then they showed me the land and what it would have in it. And I was totally enamored, and I can't wait to go.
I know. And we just gave up Universal passes not too long ago.
They'll come back.
So I know they will. But I'm so interested to see, you know, what that looks like from Universal's side. That's good. You know, are we going to get they'll call it 4-park, but, you know, are we going to get a full 4-park? Are we going to get a 3-park and an add-on? Are we going to get a solo Epic? You know, so it'll be interesting to see. But
they're going to. That's another thing they got to really think about. You can't just give all the annual pass holders Epic right away.
I know.
I bet you it's going to be an add-on. That would make sense.
Yeah, it could be. Do you have any Disney related tattoos? If not, would you get one? What would you get?
I'm thinking of getting one. Right now, I
Okay.
have absolutely no tattoos.
Okay.
So I was thinking of getting something that had to do with like the United States and Mickey, like a
Yeah.
flag or. But then I watched a show that told me that when you get a tattoo, your immune system is trying to fight it off always. And I'm like, oh, great. Now I got to worry about that.
I'll
But
tell
I
you.
see you with tattoos and I don't
Yeah.
see you sneezing.
No, I've got a pretty good immune system. Rhonda's got, half sleeve, full sleeve. She stays pretty healthy. So yeah, I'd say go for it. I will
Do
say
you know
this.
a person out here that does well? Like
I
that
know one
does
in
good?
St. Augustine. Yeah, I know one
Okay.
in St. Augustine. Yeah, if you wanna come up here and get one, we'll go grab lunch or something. You get a tattoo.
We should do that.
He's done.
It's worth the drive because
It
I don't
is.
want somebody doing
Yeah,
it that
he's
messes it
he's
up.
outstanding. He did Rhonda's villain sleeve, so she has a half sleeve that's like princesses, and that was really pieced together. She kind of went and was like, "I'm gonna get one," and then she's like, "Well, maybe I'll add another." And she added when she did her full villain sleeve, like he planned that out from day one. So, and he pieced everything together, and he's just incredible about it.
That's great.
There's been few. I think it was Tangled. She went to get a Tangled tattoo, and he hadn't seen the movie, and so he went and watched it. Just in preparation to like understand what he was tattooing.
That's
so,
great.
let me know when you're
Now,
ready. And
I gotta see if I will. I have to do. I don't know. I don't recall Rhonda's sleeve. She must have had long sleeves when I saw
she may
her.
have. Yeah, and she literally finished it up a couple months ago. So
Okay, that's
yeah,
fine.
depending on when we last saw you, but
It was
all
a
right,
while.
for our next question. So outside of the work you do in content creation, you're obviously in the Central Florida area. Do you think you would still go to Disney as often? And how do you feel it would be different if you did?
Probably would go about the same amount. I think
Okay.
I'm there 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah. Oh,
And even if I wasn't creating content, I would do that because to me it's therapy. I obviously have some mental problem that needs to be solved, and when I walk through the gate and watch the parade, it gets solved. So that's it. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I think a lot of us have that.
Yes.
But so yeah, I don't know if that would change too much, but I might enjoy things more. Like I know sometimes now I look at things through a lens. You know that when you film and stuff, you look at things through a lens and you don't really experience it as a guest. You're just trying to make the content. So you're like, oh, it looked like a good show on the little screen. So sometimes I would like to just sit back and be a guest again.
Yeah.
And I do it. Sometimes I do. This weekend I went with my niece to Old Key West. I did not bring the camera.
That's amazing.
And I should, but I just did.
Yeah. Well, that question's in here somewhere, but I'll kind of just get to it now. Is that one of the hard things that you find about content creation is the balance between kind of work
definitely.
and pleasure? And then do you come away from this past weekend? I know you said, well, I probably should have brought my camera, but
yeah.
Do you come away with any regret, or is, being in the moment and enjoying it something to outweigh that? Like, it's hard to sit and say, you know what, I'm just going to enjoy this meal. I'm not going to film it. I'm not going to take photos. And then that voice in the back of your head, right, is like
something amazing always
to.
happens. Like with one of my nieces or nephews that I'm like, oh, I should have been able to film that. And I'm also always going, oh, where's my camera? Like I feel like I left it somewhere because I'm so used to having it. But I appreciated just getting on a bus and going through a security scan without having to go to the table to open up a bag. So I was like, all right, that was good. So yeah, it is a balance and you have to figure out, the balance.
What, if you don't mind sharing, what equipment do you use? Because I got to say your videos are some of the best as far as just the clarity, obviously the content and all is outstanding, but what do you use?
Well, I just changed recently. Okay, so I used to have the Sony A7 IV, which is like this $2,500, lens thing and, SLR camera.
Yeah.
And then the DJI Pocket 3 came out. Let me tell you, the picture is just as good, if not better.
Oh, wow.
I can do 4K 60 without a crop. So this $700 camera is actually better than the $3,000 camera.
Wow.
You don't have to switch lenses. You do have less of a zoom, but the stabilization, the clarity, the audio, it's amazing.
Wow.
So DJI Pocket 3, if you're a creator, and it's so much less to lug around.
Yeah.
And it's great in low light, which is a big deal for me that I can't believe it does as good in low light.
Yeah.
Even better than an iPhone.
So how do you, because this is something I know that I struggle with, but you're obviously a pro who's been doing this for a decade, of being in the parks and creating content without disturbing other guests. Because I know this is a hot topic. And I see it once a week in a Facebook
Yeah.
group that they want to ban live streamers and,
If
get rid of them. Like,
yep, if you are creating content and I know about it to the point where it's bothering me, I want to whack you down. I don't like when I'm on the Haunted Mansion and I see people on their cell phone.
yeah.
I want to jump out of my doom buggy and be like, why? So yeah, I am definitely conscious of that. If I do film a show, I will go to the back row.
Yeah.
And I will make sure there's nobody behind me that can see me zooming in on something. Or with the DJI Pocket 3, you could put it in your pocket and film and nobody would even know. And you could even tell it to stay on a specific spot, like, focus on this spot, and you don't have to even film or be active in it.
Okay.
So, but the people, and I don't do any live streaming where, hey guys, I'm here. I'm in the carousel of progress. Can you see me?
Yeah.
I don't enjoy that. It's just not me. People tell me I should, it would be fun if you took us around in live. Not my thing. And I do feel like other people around you all have to notice what's going on. What is this person doing?
Right.
It's just attention seeking that I can't get on board with.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's, a good piece of advice that I'm not even sure you realize you just gave to potential content creators is just being comfortable with what you're doing, and I mean, that's why people love you, because who you are on this podcast, who you are on your YouTube channel, and who you are in real life when I've had the opportunity to sit down and chat with you is who you are. There isn't this persona.
Thank you. Yeah. It's not an act. Nah, yeah. I've done away with any act that was there, and it's like, this is me.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
People do.
And I don't want to put down people that do that, thing in the park. I just want them to, you have to be conscious of who's around. You can't be on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway while a family is enjoying it and just be yelling at your followers. It's just, no.
Yeah. And that's one of the things you have to realize. I think the same thing, like, standing in the stretching room on Haunted Mansion and people are reciting, the ghost host out loud.
That I have done. I have done that, but I
it's hard not to. Yes. Yeah. You gotta just like lip sync it, because you have to realize that you've been there 1,000 times and your friends have.
Somebody could be somebody's new time. Right. Exactly.
First time ever. And
I want everybody to really enjoy those
for
things.
Sure. So who would you like to see take over as CEO after Bob Iger? Do you have anybody specific or just a type of person?
I do like Josh.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's legit, meaning once he takes over, is he going to be just like them? Possibly.
Right.
It may not even be his fault. That's the job. But I do think Josh would probably be good. He's just well-liked. I feel like he has a heart.
Yeah.
And I really hope that the heart comes back into their decision-making.
Yeah.
I understand it's money, and I understand there's a bottom line. I do know that if you don't start changing people's minds to thinking that Disney cares again, that bottom line will get hurt in other ways.
I know.
So they need to come back to caring.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that line, that they need to come back to caring. I was just,
it's a perception. So you have to, I used to perceive that Disney was my friend. It was a friendly company. Now there's a little bit of, oh, wow. Okay. They did that. Really? Okay.
I know. Yeah. And I mean, everything, obviously that we've seen about Josh and that I've heard either through interactions with him, myself, or through a lot of cast member friends, some of the guest experience managers that I'm friends with, when he comes into those resorts, they feel like they're, part of the team and that he really truly cares. And we lost that with Chapek. I mean, he came in to be the bad guy. He came in to be the villain and say, I don't care. This is business. Let me make the hard decisions, and implement them. And then I think Iger's still kind of digging out of that. But yeah, I think, if the perception is at least that they do care about their guests and annual pass holders, I think specifically, it changes a lot when they make certain decisions,
I had a quick interaction with Josh on the Wish that I liked him. The elevator opened up. I saw he was the only one in it, and I was going to get in. And I said to him, "Oh, Josh, you don't want anybody in there with you. I'll let you go." And it's like, "Oh, stop it. Come on." So I thought that was good.
That's amazing.
I came in. We talked about the buttons on the elevator and how they had to be changed on the Wish. If you back up, you hit them all.
Yep.
And he said, "Oh, yeah, that's going to change." And he was conversational.
Yeah.
I don't think he knew who I was at the time.
Right.
But it was a good interaction. I was like, all right, this guy seems to care, and he seems to be, he's not. He doesn't think he's holier than thou.
Right.
I like it.
Yeah. When we stepped off of Mickey and Minnie's on opening day, because we were there at 3 a.m. or whatever, and we're some of the first to ride on that actual opening day. And as we exited, he was standing outside of the exit. And most people just walk past him. They don't know who he is unless you're hardcore. Yeah. And so I noticed him and just went up and said, hey. And and he said, how did you like the ride? What did you think about it? Like, who's here with you? What did they think about it? And that's when I was like, all right,
That's a question. Could you imagine if you really hated it?
Oh, I know. That would be, especially coming out of Great Movie Ride. You have those hardcore.
There's the potential.
That people could dislike it. I love it. I'm always cool with seeing Disney move forward and changing things like that. I mean, that's what
me too.
Walt
do I wish we could have had both? Sure. Yeah.
What I know we touched a little bit on kind of separating the work and the play as far as being a content creator, but maybe aside from that, what do you feel is the hardest thing about being a content creator, and maybe other than the paycheck?
Being unaware of other people's podcasts and videos and things, like, there's just not enough time. This too from doing your own thing. You follow maybe one or two other people, but it's really hard when somebody says, oh, did you see this? Did you see this? And you're like, no, I'm so involved trying to do my own thing. I don't. And sometimes it's work. If somebody says you want to go watch somebody's or listen to somebody's podcast now, no, I just did my own. I just did this one. I just did, that kind of thing. And putting the truth together with the rumor is a big deal. Like right now, I'll tell you, between all the announcements Disney has made, not made, canceled, I'm like, okay, are we definitely getting an expansion beyond Big Thunder Mountain or not? I guess we are. Yeah. Or is that one of the things they were hoping and thinking about?
I know. Yeah. It's hard to find out what's true and what's not. And then also, if you start with the rumors, then you're known as the rumor person. And then, there's going to be times you're like, well, I don't want to report on this rumor. And people are like, why aren't you? And then going back with all the other content and everything that's out there, I don't know if this is some of the same for you. Like, I used to listen to and watch a lot more Disney stuff, but then I got worried that it would have an effect on the way that we did our podcast. So let's just say, Big Fat Panda does a video and it's like the top 10 somethings. And I think to myself, that's a really great topic. So what I'll usually do is I'll take that topic and I'll make a note like, hey, I saw that John did this, but I won't watch it or listen because I'm so afraid when I go to do my own, that's just going to intercept my thoughts and go, well, Panda said these were the 5 best. And I'm like, it's just,
I agree.
So you kind of find that separation.
It's like acting too. If a person's going to do a role that someone else did, should they go watch that role or not?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how anybody has followed. Well, I guess I kind of followed Heath Ledger, for example, right? As the Joker. Like, we got Jared Leto, who just went the completely opposite direction.
Complete opposite.
But I finally watched, when it come out 5-6 years ago, I finally watched Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. It took forever for me to watch it. Oh, he is.
Is it good?
It is good. So, listeners of our show know this about me. I don't like origin stories for villains a lot of times because I don't like feeling bad for a villain.
Oh my God, I mean? I agree 100%. I want the villain to remain the villain.
Like, I really enjoy the Maleficent movie, but at the same time, I'm like, why am I feeling bad for this awful human being? Like, I don't want to know why she's as bad as she is. And so that's the only thing. But this Joker does it in a way, and Joaquin Phoenix does it in such a great way where it's interesting to see the origin story and you do feel bad, but they wrap it up in a way where you're still like, all right, I'm still scared to death of this psychopath. I know why he's a psychopath now, but now, you know what I mean? Like,
okay. Yeah. Now I got to watch it.
And that literally kept me.
Depressing.
It is.
It looks really depressing.
It's depressing. Is, right? Yeah. And it's like 2 hours long. The first hour and a half is very much just kind of slow moving storytelling. The last 30 minutes is the type that you're like, you come out of going, whoa, like almost like what just happened. And so I would definitely recommend it, though.
I'm going to check it out. And isn't there another one coming, but it's not him? Yeah. Or is it him?
No, it is. It's him with Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, but it's supposed to be a musical. So that'll be interesting.
That'll be interesting.
Interesting. And I like musicals. I've found that about myself as I get older, that I enjoy musicals, which is something I do too. I never thought.
Some of them are cringe though. Yes. Some of them you go, oh,
yeah. Like, it should be a musical because it's a musical. It shouldn't, like, I feel like they're trying to
should feel forced something.
Yeah. So
yeah.
We'll see how it goes, but I'll check that one out. How do you feel about kind of the current state of the Disney parks and everything that has changed and been implemented since COVID? Obviously COVID was the Band-Aid that Disney needed to rip. Not that Disney wanted that to happen, but it was the time for them to say, let's do all the things we've been talking about. Do you like the things they've done, or are there some things you do and some you don't?
I think if I look at it as a whole, it's changed so much and become so complicated to do a trip to Disney. And I'm here, and you and me are involved with it. We know the stuff, and it's still confusing. Could you imagine if you're a person that really hasn't followed any of this and just said to the family, we're going to try to take a trip to Disney. You need a Wikipedia, or you need to hire a tutor for a week to explain the reservation system. When is a good to go day? After 2:00 at the Magic Kingdom on the weekends, and virtual queues. And it's like, and I was going to make a joke out of it, and I never did. I wish somebody would. Out here, we have public shopping centers. Yeah. Usually we go to Publix and we buy our groceries and we leave. Could you imagine if one day you walked into Publix and they said, do you have a reservation? Yeah. And you said, what? No, I just want to go get milk. Well, first of all, you need a reservation to get into Publix, just to shop. Milk, at 3:00, you can try to get on the virtual queue for it. Otherwise, you can't. And you're like, oh, okay. What about aisle 3? That's fine. You can go there once you have a reservation. I mean, if you took it and made it into another thing, you'd go, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Universal has still, again, they get really crowded too, and they have these $300 fast passes some days. So I don't think they actually, it just seems like you could just go there and wing it if you had to. With Disney, you can't. Yeah. What happened to spontaneity and just relaxing? And I don't like people being on their phones all day.
Yeah.
I go to Disney to try to get off my phone.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, you could, and I mean, especially you as a very local pass holder who can just pop on over at any time. I find it interesting that you could wake up one morning and say, I want to go to a park right now. And you couldn't, if it was a spring break or a busy time where everything's full. I like that.
It happened to us Saturday night.
Okay.
My niece one of my nieces who's like 2 said to her mother, fireworks, Magic Kingdom, mommy. And we were like, oh, okay. She's not scared anymore. We're going to go do that. And I was like, no, it's Saturday. We went to Epcot today. We can't just go to the Magic Kingdom today. We went and there's no more reservations. Yeah. So I went to Epcot and watched the fireworks there. So that's okay. But you are definitely more restricted than in the past.
Yeah. So what do you say to someone that contacts you because they're going to and say, hey, we're thinking about going to Disney. Tell us what we need to know. Like, what is your game plan for that person?
That's a really good question.
Because it's hard.
I try to, we need a video, like 1 hour, like an hour video. So you haven't been to Disney since last month. Here's what changed.
Yeah. Since last
with updates.
Month. It's so very true. Well, we went, it was nice because we were there weekend before last. And we had one of Rhonda's friends that has not been since she was a kid. And she knew nothing. And she did no research and she didn't know it existed. And I was like, you are the best person to ever take because you don't know anything. Like,
hope she had a good time.
She had a great time, and
good.
And we were like, well, do you want it? She's like, don't even tell me. She's like, because if we don't get to do it, I won't know. So I won't be disappointed.
That's true.
And it actually worked. But, when you have these people, I feel so bad for them. I feel bad for the folks that do the research and they take the time and they still can't get to everything. And, we're very fortunate, and I'm sure you do it. You can walk in somewhere and go, oh, that ride's 30 minutes. I don't feel like waiting 30 minutes today. I'll do it another day.
We'll do it next week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that luxury is, we're very lucky to afford, but.
I mean, I think about, like, let's say I wanted to go on Guardians of the Galaxy and I was visiting and I only had 1 day at Epcot. And I understand if it broke down, but the fact that it's running and I can't get in the virtual queue, that would frustrate the heck out of me as a guest that's not coming back for a couple of years.
Yeah, well, that was Rhonda's friend. Is we did. I don't want to brag. I'm kind of a virtual queue aficionado. I kind of know how to get the virtual queue, but no. So I woke up that morning, Friday morning, got the virtual queue for Cosmic. I'm so excited.
Right.
We take her on it, and we get off, and she's like, "All right, how do we ride it again?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you can't today." There's no way. Like, I looked up a Lightning Lane. They were sold out because she would have bought them right then and there. I'm like, I we got Epcot again tomorrow. I'll get a virtual queue tomorrow, but then you're done. That's it. And she's like, you're telling me I can't get out and just get back in line, even if I wanted to stand there for 2 or 3 hours? Nope. You sure can't. So it is crazy. Interesting. Yeah. What Disney IP that currently isn't well represented in the parks do you wish was more represented?
I really do love Coco. I thought
Yeah.
it was a great movie, and I
Yeah.
would love to see the Fiesta boat tour, whatever the heck it's called now, Grand
Yeah.
Fiesta boat ride.
Yep.
Change to Coco. I would love to see Coco get in there, keeping the three Caballeros somewhere in that ride.
Yes.
Don't get rid of those animatronics, but I would love to see that turn into Coco. It looks like Coco's getting something else, possibly in another park, though. But I really think
I know that
with the way IPs work in Epcot, it needs to go there.
Yeah. Well, and it's so hard. I mean, I think Coco still stands up so well today. I mean, I could go watch that movie right now and be in tears, but it's so interesting how long it often takes Disney to come around to those things, you know? And obviously there's got to be so many dollar signs associated, but I can't think of anybody that doesn't want something Coco. And then it's, you know, we might be getting a full-fledged area in Beyond Thunder Mountain, or we might be getting a spinner ride stuck in the tropical Americas.
I know.
Like, what's going on? D23 will be interesting this year.
The throwing out of theming is killing me sometimes.
I know.
Like, how are they putting Zootopia into the tree when they took me on tours and told me all about the roots of the tree where the bugs live in the roots?
Yeah.
So now there's giraffes and llamas in there?
Yeah, I know.
Like, and then Indiana Jones in Animal Kingdom? What? I need it to make sense.
It's becoming a stretch.
It's a stretch. Even Moana and Epcot, to me, I know it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Just doesn't feel like it belongs there.
No. I mean, I walk through there, and I'm not saying it technically belongs in Animal Kingdom, but it certainly would fit there better. But I walk through that, and I'm like, oh, wait, no, we're not in Animal Kingdom. We're in Epcot still.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of get that feel. So, that'll be interesting. If you could do any job at Disney World within the whole theme parks, resorts, whatever, what would it be?
I think I'd want to be a host at the Haunted Mansion.
Oh, that's a good
I just think you could be miserable. You don't have to smile. You could scare them a little bit.
Yeah.
But I would love to just feel that moldy air conditioning smell in that building and just walk around there. I love it.
Yeah.
The Haunted Mansion's my favorite.
Have you ever wanted to work for Disney or thought about working for Disney?
Years ago when I first was going to move here, I looked into it. It just didn't seem like enough to support yourself well.
Yeah.
So I never did. But you know, if you lived out here already and you had parents, maybe I would have definitely fell into that. I would have probably tried to do Streetmosphere at the time.
Oh,
the Citizens of Hollywood.
Oh, I missed
which
that.
I hope come back. My gosh, that
know.
needs to come back, even to Main Street.
Yeah, I know. It's still weird. You know, we see like the reopening of 1900 Park Fair, and we're still have a checklist of like, what hasn't come back? All right, well, now we got 1900 Park, but you know, the Streetmosphere we don't in studios and coming up and down Main Street. Like, I hope Iger or Diamaro has that checklist somewhere that's like, all right, pre-COVID, we had all this. You know, post-COVID, we don't. Let's go ahead and check these off and bring them back.
You know what's really weird to me? If you do those Citizens of Hollywood, a lot of people, they'll remember the great ride and stuff like that, but they will absolutely remember their interaction with that Streetmosphere person too, as a highlight of their trip.
Yeah.
And I don't think Disney knows how important that was. I don't care if it's limited and you can't have 10 of them, have 3, but bring life back to those streets, because that made it real. To go up to somebody who thought it was Hollywood and, you know, talk with them, it was fun. Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Well, and you go back to just, you know, Disney looking like they care again about the guests and the annual pass holders and all is, you know, I bet the Encanto show that's coming to that stage in Epcot's going to be super cool and we're going to love it. But what if instead of that, we had brought back Citizens of Hollywood? You know, I mean, you know, if you're looking at bringing entertainment into the parks, like you had it and people loved it. You know, I wish that's something that they would maybe put. We
don't have to reinvent the wheel. Bring back the people that brought life to the streets. Yeah.
You know what I shockingly loved and I wish would come back was the Guardians of the Galaxy Live that they used to do in the American Gardens Theater,
that was great.
Right?
I have a really good video of that.
Yeah.
And the gentleman that sang in it, the actor, contacted me about it and said thank you because he has no video of it.
Yeah.
But that was that was really good.
It was
a little cheesy, but it was perfect.
Oh, it was so fun. I'll go hunt down that video because I miss it.
It's great. I really did a good job on that. I filmed it, I think 3 times.
Yeah.
And I put it together so I got different shots. Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Now you're a Universal pass holder as well because you said you've been visiting there a lot more. Okay, so Disney pass holder, Universal pass holder. Do you feel valued as a Disney pass holder? Do you feel valued as a Universal pass holder?
I feel much more valued as a Universal pass holder, especially because after 4:00, first of all, my pass gives me valet parking. If you think about that, that's ridiculous, right? And then after 4:00, you have fast pass already.
Yeah.
So I'm old now. I don't get in there till 2, 3 o'clock sometimes. It's perfect. And I thought, wow, they really are giving you something of value. I don't feel that Disney does that. Really.
Yeah.
But if they don't need to, I get it. It's business. It's supply and demand.
I know.
Until their pocketbooks hurt, nothing's going to change. And I think they're starting to see it, though.
I hope so. That's the conversation I was having with a friend this morning via text was like, Disney will continue to do nothing until people start not getting annual passes and they're not hurting. I'm paying it. You're paying it. We
see the crowds. Yeah,
we do. So, they're going to throw in a little month and a half long pass holder lounge in, restaurant Marrakesh, or give us a new magnet. I mean, I like magnets, but I've only got so many fridges, right? They're full of magnets. Give me something.
And you put them on the car, somebody takes them.
And somebody takes them. I've got in all this crap in this office here in this studio. Like I've got the annual pass holder glasses, the little like whiskey glasses that were etched with the logo from years ago, and the Minnie Mouse wooden coasters, and a time where you definitely felt, I think, more valued. And one of the things that I love that Universal does is that they tier those passes. The benefits are based on the pass, and outside of blockout dates, Disney doesn't do anything to benefit a Pixie Pass from an Incredipass. And the money is there and it's being spent. I don't think an Incredipass holder like ourselves is asking for anything more or thinking we're better than somebody that has a Pixie Pass.
Right.
But when the money's being spent, you would hope that you would get more out of it. The way that Universal does the pass after 4, and the way that they do the valet parking, which we had passes, I think, at Universal for close to 2 years until I realized that valet parking was a benefit. And then I used it
valet parking
every time.
Is everything.
Oh, just bypassing that security line alone is like worth it.
Please.
Oh, all right. Let's pull one more question from the hat, and then we'll do a rapid fire because I do want to be, respectful of your time.
Oh, that's fine. You're good.
This is one I'm actually super interested to hear what you think about. This is one of my favorite questions, and that is, how do you feel about the live-action Disney remakes?
I like some of them, and some of them I don't.
Okay.
I don't like changing what I know.
Yeah.
So when I go see Aladdin, I expect there to be a big snake at the end. And then when I get a big bird, I'm like, all right, I get it. It's a movie, but I don't know. I don't like it. And it's just, that's me. And I think it's weird, and I don't tell a lot of people this. I just don't enjoy it. I like the story to go the way I believe it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
I actually liked The Little Mermaid.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the actress did wonderful. I mean, her color or different color than Ariel, I could care less after 5 minutes.
Yep.
I really could. As long as the story remained the story. I thought the song from, what was it, Aquafina was ridiculous and needed to be taken out. But other than that, I thought it was actually pretty good. Like Beauty and the Beast, I thought was really good too.
Yeah.
But some of them are just like, why do it? Unless you have a vision to improve upon it, make it more entertaining, or give us something to really enjoy. Why are you doing it?
Yeah.
And I think Disney knows that they can't just, it used to be just a money grab. You do it, you're going to make money. It's not guaranteed you're going to make money anymore. And I think they're stopping that now.
I know, especially with the state of streaming. And it's just, it's interesting to see what they put out. We're in the same thing. There's a lot of remakes that we just don't think were necessary or didn't care, and there's some that we absolutely love. I mean, Beauty and the Beast, the live action, is probably one of my favorite movies of all time, because they did a really good job of keeping the story very much the same, but expanding where it needed expanding.
And creating that whole, still being true to the story, but creating that whole new world. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's one of those, when you watch the animated, as good as it is, you're like, all right, they kind of fell in love pretty quick. Like, this is a little Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yes,
but then in the live action, it's like, oh, we can watch them kind of fall in love. And so, but those are the ones, I think that not only the Disney remakes, but just remakes or reimaginings in general, just have people just in such an uproar, where, why are we doing this? Don't you have original ideas? And then, unfortunately, when Disney does have some original ideas, like we finally watched Wish, which I thought was outstanding. I thought it was very good.
Thought it was I didn't go to the theater to see it because they trained me that if I wait 2 months, it'll be on Disney Plus.
Yep. So it looks like it is not a success, even though, you
Yep.
know, with fans, it's a huge success.
I loved
And
it. I agree.
yeah, so it's interesting. I don't know if Disney can win, and that's with a lot of these. I mean, I've been in a thing now where I'm going back. Like I had this long list of movies that I've never seen, and most of them are in like the past decade, and I just never got around to them. I don't sit and watch movies a lot, and I started crossing a lot of them off, and it's just it's interesting. I think that's another one of those things, and I'm sure you feel it with doing YouTube, is that there's so much noise out there. You know, there's so many people doing this out there, and it's the same thing with movies now.
And speaking of noise, what about the sites we used to follow years ago that got sold and now became these horrible clickbait?
I know.
I mean, okay, so for instance, I won't even say who it is, but you'll know who it is. The like the clown, it starts with that.
Yes.
The one of the Disney monorails was sold to Las Vegas years ago. And Las Vegas is now going to take it out of commission. So the headline with a picture of Disney monorail is, "This Disney monorail is, Disney monorails are being taken away forever."
Yeah.
And it's like, stop it. Just,
yeah, I know.
The misdirection to get a click is just, I just hope they get their comeuppance.
I know.
Stop clicking.
I know. But you know, you've made it as a social media person if they snatch one of your quotes from Twitter and misuse it in one of their articles. That's when you're like,
oh gosh,
I've made it. I've done it.
I
agree. They stole from me.
Does that happen to you?
Yeah, completely twisted the entire thing. You know, it's just, it's so funny. You could be like, I didn't really like this new flavor of Dole Whip. And they're like, Disney guests hate Dole Whip. It will never be sold again. Like, whoa. Why are you quoting me on that? That is,
I know. And why is one person's opinion an article anyway?
Right. I know. It's funny. But I mean, you know, unfortunately there are those that do what they need to do to get the clicks and make the money. And that's why I know myself and many people value, you know, folks like you and content creators that keep it real and, you know,
I know Michelle, legitimate. It goes crazy to keep it real and just can't stand those clickbait people.
I know. So I like to finish all of these with a little rapid fire. So I'm gonna throw these at you. You can just answer however you please. What is your favorite Disney snack?
Oh, the cheeseburger egg rolls for sure.
Okay.
In Adventureland.
All right. Favorite park?
I can make that a meal. Favorite park?
Yeah.
Still gonna be Magic Kingdom, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Does it change? Like, I mean, does it change pretty often for you? Because sometimes it's like, my favorite park is the park that I'm in. You know? Like right now,
as long as
if you and I, after we stop recording, we were going to go meet at a park, would it be Magic Kingdom?
Probably not. No, because it would be easier to get to the studios and have a fun time where the Magic Kingdom is a struggle.
Yeah.
It's the Haunted Mansion being in the Magic Kingdom that makes it my favorite park.
Yeah. Oh, Haunted Mansion's the best. Okay. Is your favorite attraction, obviously, is Haunted Mansion.
Haunted Mansion. Yeah.
What is your favorite defunct attraction? What's something that's gone that you wish would come back?
Horizons.
Yeah.
It's probably not coming back, but I just thought that was amazing.
Yeah. Favorite quick service restaurant in Disney World?
The Lotus Blossom behind China.
Oh yeah.
Really good white meat chicken, sweet and sour stuff. Good quick service.
Okay, love it. Favorite table service?
Yak and Yeti.
Good call.
Why? I'm going for all Asian stuff, isn't that weird? Or Boathouse.
Oh yeah. Boathouse. Because is that
those filet mignon sliders?
Yeah. You're meeting Lou there anyway. So right. I've not had the filet mignon sliders there yet.
They're great. They're great. And you can get out of there for like $25, including tip. Filet mignon sliders, loaded baked potato. It's amazing.
Okay. All right. I'll do that. Favorite resort?
Do it. Polynesian.
Okay. Your favorite Disney character?
I got to go with Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
Yeah. I love the
I also remembered asking Dad, why doesn't he talk?
Right. Hey, we got him talking for a little bit, right? You had the talking Mickey for a little bit. How good was that? I hope that.
Yeah. It was fantastic. I hope it comes back because I thought it was down great.
Yeah.
But apparently they still needed to work on it. But bring that back. That was an amazing interaction.
I love it. What is your all-time favorite Disney memory?
Being on my dad's shoulders in the Seven Seas Lagoon.
Oh,
I remember it to this day.
That's incredible.
And I remember looking at the Contemporary and the Polynesian. There was no Grand Floridian at the time.
Yeah.
And my dad saying, that's for the rich people. We don't stay there, but look at it. It looks good, right? Yeah, it's nice stuff.
Yeah.
So now when I stay there, I call my dad still.
I was going to say.
Guess where I am.
That's incredible.
You're crazy. How do you afford that, please?
I love your dad already. Like
He's funny.
he sounds
funny.
like the absolute best. How does that feel? Like knowing that because I feel the same way sometimes, when we first started going, shoot, first time we were taking the girls, we were staying at All Stars, which was very fortunate because we're actually on property, or we were setting up a tent at, Fort Wilderness. And now that we're older and just able to do more things, staying at some of these places, do you like, is there just a certain pride that you feel from saying like, hey,
absolutely.
I'm here?
Yeah. I never get tired of it or take it for granted at all.
I love it.
I bought, DVC Riviera, just a few points, but it was really, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And, I thought being a local, maybe it wouldn't be good. It turned out for me, it's like really good. Like I like being a local, knowing that I can go for just one night,
right,
or 2 nights, or when they do a Christmas party, you could sleep over at the Grand Floridian. So that's what I thought that was really good. And yeah, I never take it for granted.
Yeah. Well, John, thank you so much. Make sure you tell everybody where they can find you, your YouTube channel, social channels, anything else you want to share.
BigFatPanda.com goes right to YouTube, and usually everything pretty much is there. And then you can find me.
Awesome. Well, everybody go out, subscribe, follow John.
Thank you so much.
It's amazing.
Jeremy,
thank you for being here.
And please give Rhonda a hug and a kiss from me and the kids. Tell them I said I'll see them soon.
I will. I know. I wish
we should do a park one day. Let's do an Epcot day or something and just go to Boots and try stuff, and I'll show you that crazy camera.
I would love to see it. Let's plan that, and then I'm hoping maybe I'll be able to run into you, or we can meet up next weekend. We'll be there for 5 nights for part of our Main Street 16 Challenge charity weekend. We got 5 nights there.
I'll make sure I find you next week wherever I'm.
That'd be outstanding. John, thank you so much. We'll chat soon.
Thank you, sir.
So great chatting with John and getting to learn so much more about him. Seriously, make sure you go out and you follow him. It is such a great follow, and as you can tell, he is such a nice guy. Anyway, if you want to get these monthly Journey into Imagination episodes, brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday, Rhonda will be back for the very next episode. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And of course, myself, Rhonda, John would be super thankful if you could please leave us a rating and review, because of course, it helps our show grow. That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.